Big hello to you, so great to see you and I hope I find you well. We're here at Chester Cathedral at Making Tracks 3 and I've managed to snag myself a Fran from Accurascale. Today's video comes in association with Trainomatic, makers of DCC decoders and accessories that are designed by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. Find the full range available to order now at tramfabrique.co.uk. Additional support comes from...
This is Clark Railworks, and this is what we do. You'll know us from Ellis Clark Trains, and you'll get the same friendly expertise with us too. We've got a huge range of pre-owned model railways from all your favourite manufacturers, and maybe some you hadn't heard of before. It's the place to come for quality. We don't stock substandard models, and everything we sell is fully tested and photographed by model railway experts. No matter whether you model 00 gauge, N, HO or more, we have sought after models from all around the world with new listings added every weekday. Check out what's available now at clarkrailworks.com and don't miss out on your latest logo.
Hello Fran, how are you doing?
I'm good, Jenny. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm pretty good, thanks. Yeah, we've made it down despite the rain today, but you've been here for a few days, haven't you?
We have. It was lovely and sunny yesterday, but we're in this magnificent building. We didn't get to see much of the sunshine, but we got to see lots and lots of model trains, and you know, adults and kids alike really enjoy it. That brought the ray of sunshine for us yesterday.
Absolutely, and it was billed as being the Accurascale Takeover Making Tracks. So have you got lots of goodies back there on the layouts?
Yeah, so we were involved, and we were from the outset, and we sponsored it this year, which was a really proud moment for us. And we have done provided a lot of stocks for the layout. But we decided to come down for a couple of days and meet people, and we got to play with the trains ourselves, which was always fun. And then obviously we done a little announcement yesterday as well, which has gone down very well. So we chose here to bring awareness to the cause that we're supporting as well.
Absolutely, and that is very important as well, because obviously the market for model trains is skewed a bit more towards the older male population, and it's something that I guess men are very reticent about talking about such things, but it's important that they do make sure that they're okay.
Absolutely, we're dreadful for it. So we approached Prostate Cancer UK, and we wanted to do Class 66769, which is decorated in a livery to support prostate cancer with GB Rail Freight, and it's to bring awareness to, obviously, you know, as you said, people who suffer from prostate cancer. We're also aiming to raise £10,000 to donate to Prostate Cancer UK to help with research and awareness and stuff like that. And it's also, yeah, as you said, a big portion of our target audience is males over 50 who are the most susceptible to prostate cancer. And as you said, we're not very good at talking about this or getting checked out or just ignoring warning signs. So to do something like this is great to bring awareness to the charity and the good work they do, but also awareness to prostate cancer, and hopefully, you know, that resonates with our customer base as well. And you know, if it encourages people to be more aware of it or get checked out, then I think that's a really good positive as well. And it's a really nice model, which always helps.
Absolutely. So they're available to order right now, are they?
They're available to pre-order on the Accurascale website, and proceeds will go to Prostate Cancer UK. Our aim is to raise £10,000. So everyone who orders one, and the orders have been really, really strong since yesterday. Thank you so much for ordering and supporting this cause, and obviously supporting us in helping this cause as well. And yet they're still available on the website. We want to sell as many as possible to raise as much money as possible. So we're not going to call it a limited edition model. There's no fixed amount on it yet, but we will have to go to production at some point. So we recommend you get your pre-order in now. It's no money down.
Yeah.
$169.99 for DCC ready, and $259.99 for your sound-fitted models.
Excellent. And of course, you've got more than just 66s. You've got I've seen the 89, the Flying Badger in intercity livery.
Absolutely.
And that looks amazing in that livery. I caught sight of it earlier on.
Yeah, it really does. We have a running light engine at the moment, so that's obviously a joint partnership we've done with Rails of Sheffield. They're now gone into production, and we hope to have them by the end of this year. So we have the intercity swallow livery is preserved running on the layout at the moment for the last couple of days. We also have the executive one in behind here that people can see, so we brought that along as well. I know I'm biased, obviously, but I think it looks really, really good, and the feedback from visitors yesterday was really positive on that as well. So people are delighted. I've really liked the model as they've seen it so far.
So I mean, because you've done previously the 92, now the 89.
Yes.
That's something that I know other manufacturers have tended to shy away from electric locomotives. Have you seen a very strong demand for that type of locomotive that's maybe bucked the trend?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the 92 is a slightly obscure model, or prototype. It doesn't maybe get the love of other ones, but I think what we done with it made it really popular, and it sold really well, which encourages us obviously to look at more electrics. We do like them, and it's a part of the model railway scene that it's getting served better now, but traditionally maybe the last 5-6 years ago was underserved. So obviously we're seeing other manufacturers bring out class 90s, 86s, 87s. So it's great that we can bring our stamp and our model to it as well. Firstly with the 92, obviously with the 89 as well. It was for us. It was a real halo model to do, and we have big love for it. The pre-orders from both ourselves and Rails of Sheffield have been outstanding for it, so it's really resonating with people. So it really encourages us to do more electric models in the future, and we definitely will be doing more in the future. We have a few ideas.
So it could be a little hint that maybe an 81 to 84 is on the cards. You heard it here first, but it's the thing I find actually with Mother Railways is that it's so secretive. Manufacturers are really tight-lipped about what they got planned. I mean, can it be a real problem where you're working on a model and then you find out very late in the day that another manufacturer has secretly been doing the same? Is that always something that you're very much aware of?
It's not so much that we're aware of it, but we're obviously conscious of it. I mean, I think, with so many companies now, obviously you have your established companies, and in the last say 6, 7, 8 years, just like the likes of ourselves and others have popped up, and there's inevitable that there's going to be duplication, and it has happened obviously with say a couple of wagon projects that we've worked on, and it's there's nothing you can do, and you've committed time, money, and once it's gone to tooling, there's no turning back on it, because you've obviously outlaid a significant sum of money, and I think it's just you believe in your product and your model, and you get the message out there, and you sell it, and the market decides if they want to buy it or not. And obviously it's a risk obviously we have to take on board, but I think it's just one of those things. But I think from a consumer point of view, a modeler's point of view, it can be a positive thing as well, because it really drives you on to make the very best model you have, or you can do. And it's then in those situations, you can compete on price point, you can compete on quality, fidelity, and that's where the consumer wins, in that sense. So from that point of view, competition in the market is a very healthy thing for the end consumer and the end modeler, which I think is very positive as well.
So it's almost like you in the back of your mind, the chance that somebody else might come in and have been work on something as well makes you think we have to make this the best model it can possibly be, because then even if there is another model on the market that comes in, we know that we've got something that has that USP that will make it stand out.
I think that's really important. I mean, when we look at doing any model, we want to put everything we possibly can into it. I think it's no secret that obviously when we came to the market and we decided with our locomotives, it was something that was on the market before, but maybe it was seen as like, it was time for a new approach in tooling and what different can you do with the models? Obviously the Delta and stuff, there have been good models before, but you put your own sample, so you really want to put it into that as well. But obviously, you want to make sure that if there's any competition, that yours is the best possible model you do. And the production team and the project managers we have are really passionate, really knowledgeable about from current scene all the way back to as you've seen with the children wagons, the very birth of the railways and all in between. And they're basically historians that go through all this stuff, but they really care about fidelity, accuracy, getting the details right. So all that care goes into it anyway. So we're always confident that ours will be the best model. That we really put everything we can into it. As we've seen with our customer base and people buying the models and the people we've talked to this weekend, it seems to resonate with them as well, which is very reassuring for us that we are doing a good job.
I mean, you mentioned the children wagons, and when you announced them, it was almost like let's just check it's not April the 1st, because it's such an unusual prototype.
Yes.
And is that something that you've tried to put into the mix of models that you're looking to develop in terms of doing something that's really left field, but which, I mean, I was surprised actually when you announced them that I looked into them and they had such a huge operating period. I mean, some of them were still active in the 1970s, which was quite incredible. Is that something that you've been working on for quite some time then before it was announced?
It's one of those that sometimes a project manager will come and they'll have looked at something and they'll have a real interest in it, and the children wagon fit in because we were perceived as being, they're only interested in, say, the current era or modernisation era of plans, say, from the 60s onwards, whereas the children really showed that no, actually we are interested in, say, the steam period, and we were feeding our way into that, and right back to the birth of the railways. And obviously it was part of our Powering Britain range, so that was going from, we were able to bookend it with the HYAs, were probably the last coal wagons that we'll see running on the UK network. We wanted to have the very first, which we saw as the children's as well, and obviously it bookended that whole series of models for us, so that fed in really well. So we look at those kind of themes, and sometimes it's is there a gap in the market for something that'll fit in there. So obviously we were seeing more and more models from the birth of the railways. Children's were such an integral part of wagon load trains out in that period, so that's where we saw, well, there's a gap in the market, we can do this here. It's something interesting, something a bit different, it's long lived, so it'll appeal to a lot of industrial modelers as well, obviously into the 60s and 70s and 50s. So it really, you look for those bases that you can tick many boxes for many different people as well. It just depends on the subject matter, and what can you do better, or what's something that's never been done before that's different, that captures people's imaginations.
And are you finding that the kind of products that people are wanting is changing in terms of areas? I know that when I first got back into railway modelling, people used to say it was the BR steam. The 1950s, 1960s was the big deal. But are you seeing that that's changing a lot? And in terms of maybe stuff that's before living memory, that pioneering era of railways, is that growing a lot in popularity?
It's a funny one, because we're feeding our way into a lot of these different eras and stuff like that, and we were I think a lot of it's kind of what people are nostalgic with when they have that disposable income. So I think a lot of people maybe who were nostalgic with steam 15-20 years ago, the BR era, are now, the people in that age group are maybe more nostalgic about, say, BR Blue, and because they're getting that bit older. But we talked to, say, some retailers, and we're like, maybe the big four stuff doesn't sell as quick as it used to. The BR liveries and it still sell, but BR Blue, say the big four, GWR, LMS, blah blah blah. And we were a bit conscious about that, but the manner and the siphons in those liveries sold really, really well in GWR liveries. So it's hard to know, really. Now, pre-grouping has become a very interesting period because it was never really served by the industry before, and it has some exciting different liveries, some very elegant and pretty prototypes. So I think that's a big part of it as well. So I think that captures, well, it's something new, fresh and different. So stuff like our book jumper, obviously, in we have pre-grouping livery as well as all the way through to BR. And that has done really, really well in this pre-grouping livery, because obviously very pretty ultramarine blue and stuff like that. But the other thing we find as well is the specification is obviously really important as well. So as you know, we put a lot into, say, the sound element of our locomotives and the electronics and stylised, because a lot more people have converted to DCC, and just the standard sound small speaker is just not seen as sufficient anymore. People want them extra toys in the locomotive and extra specification, and that's something that we've obviously tried to build into it as well. So you're getting demands of different elements of the market. We're seeing them, like the current hour stuff sells really well, and when you see the kids here this weekend, they love, you know, the stuff they see every day, like the Avanti Pendolinos and the units, as well as the, you know, the 66 is obviously a big part of that for the freight operations, and nice and colourful liveries. But I think something nice and colourful always sells, so that seems to be a big part of it.
Absolutely. And also I've seen you've got the Manor as well, which is your first steam model.
Logo, yeah.
And how close are we to that?
Well,
being
they're
in
in the
shop?
country, so they have arrived. So what date are we? I can't remember what day we are today. It's early August.
5th or 6th
of August.
Yeah,
today.
I think we're in 2023.
We are in 2023. So they landed late last week, just gone, at our warehouse. So we will be next week. We'll be breaking down the pallets, counting them into stock, doing the QC check, and then we start wrapping up and sending them out towards the end of this coming week. They'll start going out to customers. So we're really excited about that.
And obviously, you need to get your orders in because they're not going to hang around. If the Deltic is anything to go by, these are going to be quality sellers.
Yeah,
so I'm really looking forward to these actually, because they've been quite a long time in gestation, and I take it you've tried to really put something new, something special into the model that maybe's not been done before.
The way we approached it was, first of all, it was our first steam locomotive, and they are quite different to doing a diesel or electric loco, so it was a big learning curve for us. It is also the quickest loco we've delivered to market today, even though it feels like a lifetime. So
is that because you announced it quite early in the cycle?
Well, we are. I think we weren't quite as affected by the pandemic stuff as we were with the 37 and the 55.
Right.
But there was a kind of lag in the last 6 months where it really slowed down. But it finally came to market. But it's 2.5 years, whereas the 37 was 3.5 years. So we're getting better. We're getting better. We still have a long way to go to improve that. Absolutely. As regards to the model itself, we've done stuff with the sound again, just to build in that extra. USP on it. There's a lot of die-cast construction in it as well to get the weight into it for haulage power. And I think it shows on the finish of it as well. It looks like a nice meaty loco. It has really good weight to it. It's pulling fairly long trains here. It's been running here all week, pulling 10 Mark 1 coaches. We currently have it running with our 21-ton mineral wagons and some of our banana vans. Nice lengthy train as well. So, there's always going to be a steam loco is never going to pull as much as a big diesel just because of the space constraints. And obviously a Manor is one of the smaller steam locomotives, even though it's a 460. But when it comes to the body and all that kind of stuff, it is slightly smaller. But I think for what you would look for in a package of haulage capacity, it's done really well. And we have some nice little features in there as well that people will see, like the thicker and firebox and really good cab detail, and we use stuff like the finish on the front of the smoke box with the we've done the matte finish on it. It's gone down really well, and people really like that as well. So that's I don't think any other manufacturer has really done that before. So it's just a slightly different take on the finish of the locomotive. So I think people will find interesting.
Excellent. And the final locomotive that I spotted on there, you've got your little nod to what Lima used to do in the 80s, and they were famous for going, well, we've got a 33, we'll paint it up as an Irish A-class. Those funky Irish people will just lap it up, and you've returned the favour. You've got your A-class painted up as a 33, and it's even got the grindy pancake motor sound going on as well. Yeah,
absolutely. So we done it as an April Fool initially, and the story, if people aren't sure about it, when we were kids, and literally myself and Patrick were all around the same, and Steve were all around the same age. When we were growing up, there was no Irish outline models, and we all wanted an A-class, the most plentiful diesel we saw every day. And Lima painted the Class 33 and some Mark II coaches in Irish. So the Mark IIs weren't too bad because they ran in Ireland. But the Class 33 was obviously a Fubi. I had a Bjork 33. I got my Irish one, put it beside it, and I was like, they're the same locomotive. So it was always our ambition to do an A-class, and our first locomotive we ever did for IRM was the A-class that you reviewed.
Yeah, and it's a lovely model.
It really turned out nicely. So we decided, well, in tribute to that, we'll paint one of the A-classes up as Class 33. So it's the one I had as a kid, 33056, the Burma Star. And what we did was then Jamie Goodman very kindly recorded a Lima pancake motor, and we put it on the sound trip. So when it runs around, it makes the pancake motor sound. So I brought it this weekend. It's confusing a lot of people, but that's the story behind it in case anyone doesn't know.
And if enough people ask for one, would you actually put it into production?
I don't know. I to be honest, I might give it a go. I'm not sure my colleagues would agree, but you never know. If people want one, let me know.
So drop them an email.
Drop an email or comment in the video. We'll do the comments.
Absolutely. Well, look, it's been great having a chat with you and this amazing setting. But I'm keeping you from the train, so thank you so much for sitting down and having a chat with us. So a big thank you to Fran from Accurascale, just going through some of the models that they've got available here to see running on Making Tracks 3. And thank you very much for joining us for this little video. Don't forget to tickle that like button, share this video and subscribe. And of course, all of those great Accurascale models are available from the Accurascale website. But do hurry, because some of them are very close to selling out. But until next time, you take great care of yourself. Happy modelling. Bye for now.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Today's video comes in association with Trainomatic, makers of DCT decoders and accessories that are designed by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. Find the full range available to order now at tramfabrique.co.uk. Additional support is provided by...
This is Clark Railworks, and this is what we do. You'll know us from Ellis Clark Trains, and you'll get the same friendly expertise with us too. We've got a huge range of pre-owned model railways from all your favourite manufacturers, and maybe some you hadn't heard of before. It's the place to come for quality. We don't stock substandard models, and everything we sell is fully tested and photographed by model railway experts. No matter whether you model double O gauge, N, HO or more, we have sought after models from all around the world with new listings added every weekday. Check out what's available now at clarkrailworks.com and don't miss out on your latest logo.
I'd like to thank everybody over on Patreon, and an extra special huge thanks goes out to our Patreon heroes. Without you guys over on Patreon, we really wouldn't be able to keep making the video content that you see on this channel. And don't forget that you can also head on over to patreon.com/Jennifer Kirk and check out the different tiers of rewards. Thank you so much. You are absolute legends.